Okay, you're live.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. This is the February 27th meeting of Public Safety and General Governments Committee. In attendance, we have Councilman Jim Frayer, Councilperson Nicole Eady, Councilperson Doug Sutton, Councilperson Heather Dunn. We have, there's other council people that's here. So that's the roll call. And then on the agenda, we also have, so it's everybody's coming in. And then, so we have the acceptance of the minutes. I'll take a motion to accept the minutes of our special meeting from December 9th, 2024. Thank you, Ms. Edie. Any corrections that needs to be made? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I think I was out for that.
Okay. All right, so that passes. And then we have public participation. So if we have anybody that would like to speak, we'll open that up now.
If anybody would like to speak, can you please raise your hand electronically and I will unmute you? It doesn't appear so, Mr. Seed.
All right, thank you. So we'll close public participation and move on to the business. So the new business have item A, authorize the purchasing agent Sharon Connors to issue a purchase order to the sole bidder, Brown Helicopter Inc., 10100 Arlen Ave, Pensacola, Florida, for the purchase of a refurbished boat, Metal Shark 29, Vigilant, not to exceed $240,000. The 25% municipal grant match of $60,000 has been allocated for in the 2022 to 2023 capital budget, account number noted. We'll move that, and then I'll turn it over so you get an explanation for that. How you doing, Chief Gatto?
Good, sir. How are you?
Pretty good, can't complain.
Okay, how come I can't see myself? But you can hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you and see you.
Okay. So just a quick history background on this purchase of this boat. So back in fiscal year 21, we, the fire department, applied for a port security grant for the purchase of a used Coast Guard boat. It's called a safe boat. For $240,000, 180 from the government, and 60 is a matching portion from the city. Let's fast forward a few months later. We were awarded the grant. We found a vendor up in Rhode Island, I believe, that said he had a safe boat that he bought from the Coast Guard. Was going to refurbish it to the specs that we wanted it to be. That went on for over a year. The guy never worked on the boat. It was a complete disaster. Through the corporation council, we got out of that deal. We never paid any money. We just got out of the contract. And we worked with purchasing, and Sharon Connors has agreed to let us go find another one. In the meantime, we had to ask FEMA for an extension in the grants because it was going to run out last year. We have until August of this year and we lose the grant. So we found a boat in Florida. It's a 29-foot, it's not a safe boat. It's a 29-foot metal shark. It's a 2012. It's a 29-foot, like I said. It comes with 300 horsepower motors and electronics. Comes with a trailer, everything that we could definitely use. We're putting a fire pump on the boat, and with the shipping to Norwalk comes out to $220,157. So we're still under the amount of money that we have allocated between the grant and the city's match. So that's why we're asking to move this forward. So they can start working on it, and we should get it in about 14 weeks. Questions?
Uh,
All right, Mr. Fair?
Chief, did we get a survey done on the boat?
This new boat,
The current one that you intend purchasing?
when you say survey, do you mean like an appraisal?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
so I think if we're buying a used boat with 300 horsepower Mercury engines, I think that it would be prudent to have a survey done on the boat.
Yeah, well, we're going down there once they get closer to getting the boat ready to be launched, kind of thing. And go over, like you said, go over the motors, go over electronics, make sure everything's working, the pump's working. We do have warranties. 90 days on the motors. What else? 5-year limited warranty on the collar, which goes around the boat.
Is it a new
So-
collar?
Yeah, it's they call it a Hypelin collar.
Well, I think it's very prudent that we have a survey done. I think you guys are very competent and have done, been around boats. You guys that are out there have been around boats, know what they're doing. But things like, what's the integrity of the hull if you're going to add 2 big pumps in there? I read someplace also that they're increasing the size of the height of the transom. So is that so?
Yes, you're correct. I think.
So what happens is if you change some of the dynamics of it, you may have some issues with the seaworthiness of the boat. For example, most boats that are in the neighborhood of 25 feet will have a capacity plate that say that this boat is designed for X number of pounds or 7 people, something, as an example. So have we looked at what the capacity, the weight capacity of the boat is versus, the weight of those additional pumps that you're gonna put on? I would expect that those gotta be pretty heavy.
Those are all really good questions. I don't really know anything about boats. I leave it up to the mechanic. And we have another lieutenant, Mike Perry, who's very, very knowledgeable on boats. He runs his own charter business. They both said this is a really good deal. They're the ones that will probably be going down to Florida. Like I said, we're not going to pay this guy 1 penny until we absolutely are satisfied with everything. So, no, those are all good questions, and we could get an appraisal once all this equipment is installed and working.
Well, you might want to do it before you install the pumps. It might be prudent to get a survey done to see whether the vessel will be able to accommodate those pumps, because they got to be really heavy. I would think that each one of them probably weigh about 500 pounds.
There was, I don't know the weight, but there was a discussion we had about, it's 1 pump, 1 fire pump. And this vendor here said that he was really surprised when they got the pump there, how small it was. And it just has to be fabricated. There's a pretty easy spot to put it in the back of the boat, he said. And they just have to fabricate some piping for the intake and discharges and things like that.
Yeah, but he's got to increase the freeboard on the back of the boat. The transom has got to be higher than what it is now. That's what my concern is, that when you start, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, to be honest with you. But
he said
if
that
I was buying a boat, I'd have a survey done on it.
Yeah, he's going to raise the transom 25 to 30 inches to allow to receive a set of 30-inch shaft motors. So I guess the
Yeah.
motors the Mercury motors require 30-inch shafts.
Are those the motors that come with the boat? Because I
Those are
had
the
a question about that, because I couldn't figure out why you'd have to raise the transom for these engines if the engines came with the boat anyway.
I
The
think
engines aren't new, they're used.
they're used motors, and I think they're more horsepower than.
They're 300 horsepower each.
Right, so they're more horsepower, which requires him to do this. This guy has done, oh boy, I can't remember now. That he did another boat in Connecticut, similar to this. He's building one now for the state of Texas. That's going to protect some of the Gulf area.
The
He
Gulf
has
of
been.
America?
I'm sorry.
The Gulf of America?
Yeah, that's so he has done these before.
Yeah,
But-
I'm not questioning it. I think it's probably, it sounds like a pretty good deal. I just,
Well,
you
I'm gonna
know,
make sure we talk about, well, actually, we have a meeting with a vendor on March 4th. And that's one of the questions I'm gonna ask the committee is, how do we get a actual appraisal of the boat?
well, a survey, they call it, it's a survey to verify the seaworthiness of the boat,
Okay,
particularly if you're gonna be adding stuff on, that's all. And I assume then that those engines were not built for that boat.
I don't believe so. I think they're just,
So once again, most of these boats have a maximum horsepower that the manufacturer recommends. So you're now putting 600 horsepower on this boat. So I assume, you know, honestly, I think that I'm not questioning it at all, but you know, I would just feel more comfortable if we had a survey on the thing. Somebody else just verifies it. Yeah, it's a good deal.
okay. Yeah, we could
It's not gonna
definitely.
sink.
God, no, I hope not. We'll definitely look into it though.
Yeah.
And I can get back to you next month.
With this, Mr. Fred, what do you think? You feel comfortable like moving it forward? You want to hold off until what do you have more knowledge about boats than I do.
I just as soon hold it on. We got time before the summer arrives that you're gonna need it. So.
And Chief God, does this affect, because I know we have the deadline of August, and this if we table this until next month, does it affect anything or?
No, I mean, we have 14 weeks before he finishes it, so
Yeah.
yeah, we could wait for next month, sure.
Okay.
It's not a big deal, really. Down in
No.
Florida, there are a dime a dozen surveyors. You know,
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Yeah. So
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fred. You want to make the motion to?
I'd like make a motion that we table this till our next meeting. Will you have, Chief? Can you get a you know, further information on this next month?
yes, I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Like I
Yeah.
said,
So I'd like to.
we have a meeting March 4th, and that's the first thing I'm gonna bring up is how do we get this thing done? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the
Okay.
boat, I know it's not in the water. I don't know if that makes a difference.
No, the hull is metal, isn't it? Is it metal or fiberglass? I forgot. I looked at it. And I think
Uh,
if it's fiberglass, you want to take a look at what the integrity of the fiberglass is. Sometimes it'll blister, and if somebody just sands it down and puts some putty on it, it looks great, but it'll take water. It'll absorb water, and then all of a sudden you got this soggy mess.
yeah.
I think it's metal, though, isn't it? Is it metal?
Well, the name is Metal Shark. Let's hope that means something. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, it's
that's-
aluminum. No, I know.
It's aluminum, yeah.
It's
Okay.
Gravius Aluminum Boats LLC. I don't see anything what says what this.
No, I think it's aluminum. And
Oh,
it's
yeah,
got a
aluminum
rubber, and it's
construction.
got an inflatable collar, a rubber
Yeah.
rub rail that goes around it.
Right.
Okay,
All right, I will find out for you.
okay, thanks a lot.
Thank
So-
you, Chief Godwin.
So should I make a motion that I would like to make a motion that we table this item until next month.
Thank you.
Fine.
So we have that motion, on the floor. All in favor? Passes unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Frey, Mr. Boat expert. We appreciate that. And so we'll move on to item B. Is to authorize the Department of Public Works to have Eversource Electric install 3 new streetlights on the existing utility poles on the west side of Theodore Lane, and 1 new streetlight on the existing utility pole in the cul-de-sac at the south end of Theodore Lane in accordance with the attached plan at the approximate cost of $100 per month, account number noted. Turn that over.
Second,
Thank you. So turn it over. Good evening.
Good evening, Chairman Seat and common council members. Thank you for having me. My name is Paul Sotnick. I'm one of the senior engineers with the Department of Public Works. And we received a request in the form of a neighborhood petition from some of the residents on Theodore Lane asking for the 4 streetlights to be installed as Chairman Seat just described. There are currently no streetlights on Theodore Lane. And in the letter and petition that they said that they've had a variety of safety issues from potential near misses with pedestrians, as well as some activity that is not what they wanted in the neighborhood down in the cul-de-sac. So they've asked us to install the streetlights. I've reviewed the request with the Chief of Operations and Public Works, Vanessa Valadares, and reviewed it in the field and also reviewed it with Eversource. And it looks like the additional lights would work in this area. It would provide a greater level of safety for both the pedestrians and the vehicles on Theodore Lane, especially at the intersection of Murray and Theodore Lane. And I can bring up the layout if you'd like to see it.
I think that'd be good. Yeah, thank you.
Can everyone see the map?
Yes.
Okay. And zoom into the north end, and I'll start at the north end or work our way down. One of the locations, as we said, is at the intersection of Theodore Lane and Murray Street. And what we would do is have Eversource install the arm at a 45-degree angle so that it would light up this intersection. Then we'd go down to the light pole in front of number 3, Theodore Lane, and install the light so that it comes 90 degrees to the road out onto the street. We'd have that location, and we'd also have one near number 17, Theodore Lane, right in this area, same 90-degree location. And then what we would do is down in the cul-de-sac, we would have it come up toward the street out this way so that it lights this entire area up down in the cul-de-sac to provide a greater level of safety and illumination for the pedestrians at night walking in the area. Basically, that's the gist of the entire plan. I can answer any questions. As you can see also in this area, there is quite a bit of tree cover, which also contributes to the road being dark too. So the lights will definitely help improve the safety in the area. And as you mentioned, the cost is approximately $100 a month.
Thank you. So there's no installation cost. There's only the cost for the electricity.
The way it works with Eversource, the city has a current contract with Eversource, and with that contract that we have with them, they will install new arms. They will install the luminaires at the end of the arms, and they'll install any associated equipment to mount them on the poles at no cost to the city. The city only has to pay for the electricity. It's only if we were going to install new poles that we would have to pay for additional poles and wire And in this case, they're all on existing poles.
Thank you for that, Mr. Sotnick. Any other questions?
Is that $100 a month?
Yes. When we went down, these are LED lights, and I have on the screen now the cost based on the information that we get from Eversource. This is not a metered service. It's what we call rate 116 unmetered service. So it's an estimate of what it would be per month. And that's approximately what they tell us. It would be about $25 a month per pole for the time that it's on. So it'd be about $100 a month for the electricity bill to pay for this.
So I misunderstood. It's $100 for all of them?
Yes. It's
Not
$25
individual.
per pole
Okay.
per month. For a total, because there's 4 poles, it would be $100 per month.
Oh, okay. Good. Great.
Any other questions?
I can-
Thank you, Mr. Sotnick. If there's no other questions or discussion, all in favor? Looks like it's unanimous. So thanks a lot, Mr. Sotnick. We really appreciate it, and just light up that street for the neighbors.
Thank you very much. And then if the council approves this, at the next meeting, then at this point, we would take it and issue the work order for Eversource. And Eversource, it all depends on their workload and storms, other things that can take a couple of months sometimes to get the lights actually installed on the poles.
Thanks for that update.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good night.
You too.
So that's what the business. Then we have just a discussion on bless you. Have the discussion on the capital budget. And the chiefs are going to talk about what's there. We have Deputy Chief Lepore. Yeah, we go with we'll give the choice. We have either Chief Gatto or Deputy Lepore. You could go. Depending on who wants to go first.
Ladies first.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening, everybody. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Okay, so for our capital budget coming up for 2026, we're going for 25-26 year. We have 3 items that are in our projects. So we have our cars and vans, which we do every year. We have to keep the upkeep of our patrol cars for our fleet. We had fallen out of replacing some of them a few years ago because due to supplies from COVID. So we got a little backlogged. So for the past few years, we were missing some cars. So we're trying to catch up with that. So we have in our budget is $950,000 for approximately 10 new patrol cars. And these are frontline cars, so they're run 24/7. So once we retire some of the old ones, I mean, they're old. They get used, and then the older ones get handed down, and they go to like extra work cars, or they go to some administrators. So some of the ones that we're retiring right now have over 150,000 miles on them. So we've gotten their life use out of them. So again, every year we ask for money so we can keep our fleet up. So that's one of the items. We have on the list also is our gas pump replacements. So our gas pumps have been there, it'll be 20 years, and they have seen better days. Let's just say that. Last year, we had one of the fire suppressant systems had malfunction, and it doused an officer in a car and all fire retardant. So basically, they've had a lot of usage. They've had a lot of wear and tear. The canopy and the island are also very aged. If you go to them, you'll see them. It's rusting and everything, so it's in need of a replacement. So we have $135,000 on the budget for that improvement. And then our last one is a small one. It's for crisis equipment that we have, crisis response. It's for our crisis negotiating team, and it's for $30,000. And basically what this is going to be utilized for is these are considered throw phones that we use in negotiating with any hostages or barricaded subjects or anything like that. So it's a form of communication that we can utilize to negotiate with people that have decided not to negotiate or speak with us.
Is that literally a phone that you throw to them?
Yeah, sort of, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Some people that depending on their location, where they are, what they're doing, they're in rooms. Not everybody has a cell phone, as we all think of nowadays. And this is a direct line right to us, so they're not calling anybody else, and we can just talk to them. And plus, it's recorded and everything, so it's got some investigative material that's attached to it. Also, it's not just a regular cell phone. It's also got technology and other information in it that's used for an investigation. And that's it. That's all we have on our agenda for capital improvement projects for the upcoming fiscal year.
Have any other questions from any other council?
The number of cars is how many again? 10?
Yes,
At about 90,000 apiece?
yes. So the
Is there any-
vehicles,
Go ahead.
good.
No, go ahead.
So the vehicles right now, they're about $60,000, 61,000 for 10 vehicles, plus the upfit of the lights, the sirens. We
Yeah.
have to put, all the modems and computers in there. The cages, we got to move some of the back seats and all the electronics in the trunks, the laptops,
Yeah.
fire extinguishers. So the upfit is about $30,000 a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Can we get by with only purchasing half of them this year and half of them next year?
Well, we were down so many cars for 2 years that we're trying to play catch up. So it depends what's going to be in stock. We have to see. But that is our minimum. So what we did was we had 8 marked cruisers that we were buying and also 2 electric vehicles that were in there. And we got the 2 electric vehicles for our school resource officers. So those
Right.
have gone out there. So we have to see. We have to see how many we can get, depending on what happens with the cars, basically. We would like 10. Could we do with probably 8, possibly? But there's accidents, there's the wear and tear. We can't guarantee what's going to happen. People hit our cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, and we had a conversation before about the price of everything is just kind of increasing. So if we don't, like, we buy 5 this year, the next 5 is going to be more expensive than it is this year. Just the price of everything's going up. So
Yeah. The cost of these cars has gone up tremendously, tremendously. And there's not a lot of, like, Ford is not making the police package anymore, so we had to go to Chevy Tahoes, which, that has also changed. So the supply chain also has changed with this, and we can't always get a police package on certain cars.
No, I'm aware of that. It's crazy.
what
So if
you can go, Mr. Fair.
So are we getting a better deal by buying 10 right now? Obviously, as Mr. said, it's only going to be more expensive next year, but are we getting a deal because we're getting 10 of them? Are we getting 10 of them or 8 of them?
26 will be 10 cars.
Okay. So are we getting a
then
deal because
actually-
we,
In
Go ahead.
2027, it goes down to 8, and then 2028, it goes down to 8. So that gives us, to catch up on what we lost in the past, like, 3 years.
Gotcha.
2 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the pricing, we get, it is the state pricing that they give
Yeah.
us, the dealership. So it's everybody who has the state contract and they go to the one dealership, or, there's 1 or
Right.
2 of them that are on there. So you do get the state pricing for the
Yep.
cost of the cars.
Okay, great.
And with this, I know it's been a tough budget year. It's a tough one, and we appreciate all the work you guys did with the operating budget. But just want to make sure you guys have everything that you need. Are there any other priorities or anything that, like, just on the wish list or is this everything that we need, especially now with the taxpayers?
No, that's it. The 3 on our list for next year And then, going forward, we have different items coming for, the 27, or, going out for 5 years. We have other items for the building. But right now we're really in need of the gas pumps and the
Okay.
cars. That's our priority. Just, you got to keep everybody moving.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any council people?
Nope.
All right, so thank you. Again, thanks for all the work that you guys did with the operating budget. I know this budget year is a
Yeah.
tough one. And thank you guys for all the work that you guys did. And we appreciate all the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. And I appreciate all your, all your work that you guys do, and how you help us out with everything that we need to keep everything in motion.
Thank you.
Great.
All right, Chief Gatto.
Good evening again. So our capital project summary consists of 7 projects. And I'll give you a brief rundown of the most expensive ones. Obviously, the first one is the Station 4, which is located on Westport Avenue. We're looking to do a addition, renovation, and a realignment. We're going to move one of the ladder trucks up into that station to make that an 8-person station instead of 4. We have been talking about this project for years and years and years, and I put in for it back in fiscal year 24. The same project at that time was in for 2.5 million. It was cut from the budget. The following year, fiscal year 25, we put in for 3 million, and that was cut. And now this year, fiscal year 26, with a brand new cost analysis, we are at $4.1 million, with hopefully they're looking at a fire pump upgrade of 180,000. We're hoping that we don't need that, which would get us back under 4,000. I'm sorry, 4 million. And that's why we're only asking for 4 million instead of the full 4,147,000. I don't know if you're familiar with the project, but it's been talked about for a while. Do you want me to just do questions on each one?
You good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. Yeah, so could you give me some specifics about it? Are we gonna have another piece of equipment up there?
Yeah, so right now, that station will be called one of our substations. There's 1 fire engine,
Right.
4 firefighters. So that covers all of Westport Avenue, Grumman Avenue, Newtown Avenue, that whole area up into Westport.
Yeah.
So if they go out on a call, and there's another call in that district, the next engine comes out of either Van Zandt Street in East Norwalk or Station 1, New Canaan Avenue. We'll have to go into that district. So we're proposing to move a ladder truck from Station 1 into this new renovated station. And then we're going to move our rescue truck up into Broad River area, which will make it very accessible to all the major highways up there. They can come down the connector, they can go to the Parkway. So they're easier to get to the limited access highways from that station. So that'll be 8 people. Westport Avenue will be 8 people. And Central will be 8 people. So it's more balanced throughout the whole city as far as response goes. And if they have a fire up there in that district, they don't have to wait for another company to get there to do ventilation or rescue work. They'll have 8 people there right from the beginning, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah, currently now the the first due ladder truck, whether it's truck 1 from Broad River or truck 2 from Connecticut Avenue, on average, is around 2.5 to 3 minutes behind them. So which is a great deal of operating time at a fire. So they will get, because the truck company is providing the ventilation, they're providing the initial search, as the engine company is providing the fire knockdown. So this increases the on scene time for the first 2 trucks as well, and that's actually our largest district as well, all the way up to Cranberry.
Okay. So you're making room for a ladder truck to go to this new facility, right?
Yes,
So this is up in Cranberry and maybe it's into where else? Grumman Avenue, that area,
Newtown Avenue, right, all the
Newtown.
way to the Westport line.
Okay,
Um,
down on Route 1. I
Yes,
guess my question is,
yeah, that
that
yes.
sounds like a very residential area. Do we need a ladder truck?
yes, the ladder, we
Definitely.
ventilate, yes, for fire, for search, we ventilate every building. It's not just the ladder, it's ventilation, it's search too. They're also the search team. We split the trucks up and we have ventilation for the building, so the team of 2, we have 2 that go inside that provide the initial search. The second team breaks off and they're outside vent. They provide ventilation, whether that's windows, whether that's cutting a roof, or whether that's laddering a building. That's what the ladder company provides for them while they're fighting the fire.
So if we move that ladder company up to the new facility, what happens if we have a fire down in the area that doesn't have it anymore?
So the rescue company at a fire is basically like it's similar to a ladder company, where they're going to split up. Now that we have the 4 people, they're going to split up and we're going to get that search started. And our new ladder truck, which is arriving, should be, hopefully in the next year or so, we'll actually have some of our ladders on it that can provide them where they can ladder a building and get up to a 2nd floor.
So that's got a rescue truck that's going to have ladders on it.
It's also going to have a ladder in it. It'll have 2 provided in it, exactly, because with our new ladder
So
truck,
it's not going to be a big long book and ladder truck.
No. So, and that's where we split it. That's why we split it up, so we can provide more, sort of more equipment that we would use on a more daily basis. And then that's where our TAC, which is what we're building right now, is that'll house more of the technical rescue equipment that we don't use as often, but it's there for the rescue guys to use. But when a fire comes, they're going to initiate that search. They're initiating that ventilation while the engine company is initiating that. And truck 2 will be, obviously they're coming down from station 2, and then you'll have truck 1 coming down from Westport Avenue as well. So you will have initially those 8 people on scene.
So who backs them up on Westport Avenue?
What's that? Excuse me?
Who backs them up on Westport Avenue then?
It's Connecticut Avenue and
Connecticut.
and New Canaan Avenue,
Yeah, in New Canaan Avenue. And the real thing, like the chief says,
or Van Zandt Street, depending on where it is.
yeah. And we'll have those 2 companies at the station 1, I should say District 1, District 4, and District 2 are our busiest districts. And so now we'll have those 2 companies at each district, which will provide all of the initial on-scene tactics that we need to do, that we can provide them all at once now, instead of delays, right, currently. So that's the plan.
I know, I think you explained this to us when we had a tour of the firehouse one day. Was it about a year or 2 ago? And I thought it was a good idea. It's rejuggling where your manpower is more than anything else. Okay.
Yeah. As Chief said, it's more balanced around the city, especially with the districts. 1 and 4 are 2nd busiest districts, and now they'll have the adequate staffing in both districts.
Okay.
And will we have to hire more, or we have the staff?
No,
Okay.
because where they are located now, they'll just move into a
Move
different
over.
station.
Yep,
The same personnel.
that makes sense. Any other questions on this item? All right, Chief, back to you.
Okay,
Where's just curious, Chip, where's the least amount of fires?
probably, what do you think, Mark? East Norwalk?
You know, honestly,
It's hard to
Jim,
say.
that's a good question because as far as fires, it's around the city and any given year, a district can have more fires. The busiest district every year is definitely District 2 without it, as far as call volume, but as far as
Right.
specific fires, there's years that East Norwalk, we've had, I think, 3 fires in the last couple months in East Norwalk. But then, and sometimes in Station 4 could be the busiest district as far as fires. So that part is definitely not consistent. But as far as volume is fairly consistent. And their Station 1, Station 4's district is definitely the highest volume. And East Norwalk would be the lowest volume of calls.
Right. Number of calls.
Number of calls,
Per
exactly.
year.
So where this new, renovate, this new additional, I shouldn't say additional, but this new renovated and expanded station is in an area that's got a high instance of calls and fires.
Yes,
Yeah, and their call volume keeps
Yes.
going up every year.
yes.
Okay. That's food for another conversation.
Okay, so the next one is apparatus replacement plan. Just so you know, we're looking to replace the ladder truck that's at Broad River. It's a 100-foot ladder truck. That truck's a 2009. And what that would do is become one of our spares. And then the current spare, which is a 1995 65-foot ladder truck, would just go out to surplus or out to auction. So we put in fiscal year 25, we asked for a ladder truck for $2.5 million, and that was cut from the budget. We're putting it back in again this year for a beautiful price increase of 2.9 million. And just so the committee understands, the delivery time for fire apparatus is outrageously way too long. And we were told by the manufacturer that it could take up to 4 years to have this truck roll into the city. And even though it's going to cost, 2.9 million, we don't pay anything until it actually comes into the city. So
why do we have it in this budget?
because
We have to go to contract on it?
we have to go to contract.
Purchasing.
The purchasing agent wants us to have the money before we go to contract. Some departments in different towns will just let the city sign a contract with a an agreement that okay, when it's time, then we'll bond for the truck and we'll pay for it. But she wants to do it differently, so we have to come up with the money. So that's
And-
the
She wants to do it that way, or she has to do it that way?
I think she wants to do it that way. I don't know if she has to do it that way, Jim. I don't really know.
This is Sharon Connors.
Yeah, I've tried to understand why. Even the last CFO said, why can't you just order the truck? You're not gonna pay
Yeah.
for it for 4 years.
Exactly. I don't
Yeah.
understand why you can't do that.
I don't know. I don't know either.
So maybe we should have,
We should have Sharon come on.
yeah.
So, and to put it in perspective, the 2 engines we got approved for, Chief, what was it, two years ago?
Yeah, 23.
23, we have still not had a pre-bill meeting. We're supposed to have a pre-bill meeting for that in about June of this year, in which case we'll take delivery of those trucks August of 2026. So that's how
Right.
long it's taking.
Right.
Yeah, it was never like this. We used to have a truck within a year. It was actually in the contract where they had a penalty, $1,000 a day penalty for not delivering it within 365 days.
Yeah.
And we can't even, you can't even do that anymore. Yeah,
No.
it's frustrating on our end, believe me.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And well, with this one, if once we put the order in and it's there, even though it's going to take time for us to get it, we lock in the price now.
Right,
So we
exactly.
avoid a price increase next year.
Exactly.
If we keep just pushing this down the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're locking your price exactly, and you're also locking your place in line essentially, because that's what's happened. The backup is so far. If you do the longer you wait, it's just that you're just in standing, getting in back of the line again. Is really what it is.
So we don't have to pay for the whole thing though, do we?
I think you said we don't pay anything
We
until
don't pay, we don't
We don't pay
pay,
anything until delivery.
this money will sit in an account for next 4 years.
Yep.
Just like we have, the rescue truck is on order, that's 1.9 million, just sitting there.
Yeah.
The 2 engines that Mark just talked about, that's 1.3 million, that's just sitting there because we haven't taken delivery yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's just doing full upon obviously acceptance and delivery. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope to make some kind of interest on it or.
Yeah, well, we do, but, you know, I had another quick question and then I'll move on. A while back, we talked about some new types of fire equipment, smaller trucks for more narrow streets and et cetera. And it's very popular in Europe. Europe has got a lot of narrow streets and difficult to get big trucks in and out. But we have a lot of small streets as well in Norwalk. I'm wondering have you given any more thought to what some of these new trucks look like and whether any of them would be applicable to us rather than getting a hook and ladder with a 65-foot ladder on it?
So our ladders actually have 100-foot ladders on them. What the ladders are is a tiller actually can get in at smaller places than any other straight truck that we've ever had. That's what we're replacing. What the chief was talking about was the 95, which is our tower ladder with the bucket. That, to your point, that's why we changed from that and moved on, because we could not fit in tight places. The tiller, essentially the way the tiller works is you have a very small tractor. If the tractor can get into that spot, you can get the whole truck in the spot by virtue of steering the front and the back. So we've designed that for that reason, because you're completely correct, Jim. And as far as our engines, we've actually gotten down to our engines, our pumpers are as short as you can make it. We've sort of tailored everything down, and we stripped of things down to the bare essentials, where our wheelbase is actually really short. We're at a 170-inch wheelbase, and the ones that we're looking at, and you look at other towns, they're over 180 to 195-inch wheelbase, which is actually a lot for a straight truck.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've done that, and we did the same thing with the rescue, because we need it for equipment. We kept the wheelbase down, which is why we went to the tactical rescue to store all that extra equipment, so we would not have to get a larger truck that goes in basically on all the calls. So for that reason, yeah, but we definitely have been, that is definitely one of our main goals when we design all of the trucks. And that is why we've gone, and that's the other thing what the chief is saying about the truck. Now going to the tiller, replacing the tiller, now our backup truck is another tiller, which is going to be enormous for our firefighters, because our only option is that longer 100-foot straight truck, or our 1995 65-foot ladder, which is not 65-foot ladder isn't very useful for us.
Yeah.
Right. So Jim, getting back to the smaller engines, NFPA required us to carry X amount of hose. We have 5-inch supply line. We have our attack lines, and we have a water tank, 750 gallons. So as much as we try to shorten the wheelbase, we're not gonna get much smaller than that with everything that we need on it. So
Okay.
I know what you're saying though, because I've seen those trucks in Europe.
Yeah, and they're all over Europe.
Yeah,
That's, and the trend
Well,
is. to go
cool.
small. Yeah, the trend is to go smaller than bigger.
yeah.
Okay,
Any other questions on the truck?
Nope.
Okay, the next item is the SCBA harness replacement. Mark can speak better about this. It's the whole NFPA requirement. They changed their standard on breathing apparatus. That's what that self-contained breathing apparatus, that's what that SCBA stands for. This is the final phase, is the actual pack itself, you know, the metal frame that everything fits into. And we have to buy a brand new one for every single seat. So Mark, you want to just explain anything more?
Sure. Yes, Chief. So in a few years back in the capital budget, we went for a replacement for our regulators and our face pieces. NFPA changes every 10 years. So 2024, we were anticipating the change of the regulators. What they did this year, sometimes the changes are minor. This time, this is a major change where the actual fittings have changed, and they were not allow us to retro anything else. So we would actually have different type of face piece fittings, and we can't have that. That's actually a danger because the way our emergency packs work, they have to be able to fit in. You have to have the same fittings for standardization. And it's also a new design, which is a far better design. Our designs are sort of there was a hybrid between the new and the old for the last years, and we've had that for the last few years at least. So what we started was phase one was the regulator and the face piece. While before we were about to order those, we received word from the company, thankfully, that they're going to do one more redesign, and they're going to redesign the good metal packs, because some of the packs are plastic. We use the good metal packs that last longer. So we waited for that market. So we've waited for phase to purchase the regulators with the packs. And in the interim, we received funding, ARPA funding, to buy the bottles, because it's all brand new bottles. That was last year. So those we actually have in our possession. And now they're releasing the new harness, which is our phase 3, is what we're looking for the 720. So now when we take delivery of these, we'll have brand new packs, brand new bottles that are all up to NFPA code. And it's the brand new standard, which means you're lasting at least 10 years. Now, so this time we're entering the new packs right at the beginning of the new NFPA code. And so you're guaranteed at least those 10 years between that code. And you can get more depending on what they change after that 10 years. If it's a minor change, then we can continue. So that was the plan, is to really hop in now right at the beginning of the new change.
okay,
Because what would happen also is if we don't change, if we needed to buy a new pack or repair a pack, we cannot they will not even give us the old harnesses that have the old fittings on them. So
Yeah.
that's their situation. They change a fitting and all of a sudden you have to change everything. But this is the final phase now, and we'll be able to get the whole packs and get them up and running. We do have the bottles. They're stored away in our Station 6, our shops right now.
okay, good.
Thank you. Have any other questions?
Okay, the next item, number 4, fire marshal vehicle replacement plan. We've been replacing the deputy fire marshal cars that they use every day with Ford Rangers. We're going to be replacing 2 2012 Ford Escapes. And the reason why we've been going to these Rangers is they're a lot more reliable, a little bit more heavier duty. They can each of the deputy fire marshals, they can carry equipment in the back. And also, they can store any contaminated, or gear that, got dirty, or, tools or anything like that. And it's, so we have an 8-year vehicle replacement plan on these vehicles, and I'm pretty sure these are the last 2 that we need to buy to complete the whole fleet of being replaced. So we're not going to have any more Ford Escapes. We'll have these Ford Rangers. No questions? The next one, our apparatus maintenance garage, which is on Fairfield Avenue. He has a 1989 generator that powers the building, and also the compressors and things like that. The mechanic says it's really in need of to be replaced. So we put in 125,000 for this replacement of the generator. We have a upgrade of a 10-year-old, or now it's 11 years old, the media equipment in our emergency operations center. We're asking 100,000 for that. And then we have, every year we have a building repair account where, because we have 6 buildings, doors are going up and down all the time. People that live there constantly. That's 50,000. So that's all the projects. I just want you to know that finance recommended all of them except the 50,000 building repairs for the various stations. So they approved it. I mean, they approved only their part of it. Obviously, it has to go to everybody, all the other committees. But we're keeping our fingers crossed.
So with that, like with this, pretty much same question I have for the with the police department. Is there like anything else or anything that we really need to advocate for this year? I mean, you gave us a brief breakdown of everything, but is anything else, or is anything else that you really need us to like advocate for to make sure that you guys could keep us safe?
Well, thanks for asking and all that, but I mean, we've been through the budget. We were asked to cut our operating budget. Again, we did that. The capital projects are definitely things that not only we need, but it would benefit the city, especially that Station 4 remodeling project there and a new apparatus. We have replacement schedules on all the vehicles, trucks, engines, cars. So we, like the police chief said, we also fell behind in some of the replacement of apparatus. And now that it's taken longer, we're trying to catch up. So we're trying to order, because we know it's going to take 4 years to get, kind of thing, and not wait the 4 years and then put an order in and then have to wait another 4 years. I don't know, Mark, you have everything on the wish list?
No, honestly, the items that we have listed are definitely our most important by far items. These are our priorities, and they have been, obviously, because we've been putting them back in. So these are our priorities, and the trucks have become a huge priority because of that factor of all of a sudden 1 year turned into 4 to 5 years. And we're just trying to replace some of these spares. Like I said, our ladder truck that'll go is 95. The engines that we're trying to replace to keep our backup engines, the original bodies are 86s, and then they were put on refurb chassis in 2001. So those are our backups. So that these 2 new engines, they can't come soon enough. And then we can actually get rid of those and have some decent spares, because obviously we need the mechanic needs to be able to take them out of service for, a week or something, so he can properly maintain the equipment. So right now what he's forced to do is really, get the repairs done that really need to be done and put the truck back in service. And then so he's not really taking care of all the preventive maintenance as best as he can all the time now. So yeah, these are the station and the ladders, and obviously the SCBA we can't get around. Those have to be replaced at this point.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one item that maybe you can help me out with. Do you know of any mechanics that can fix fire trucks? Because I cannot find a mechanic. It's been over a year. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. I just don't get it. But anyway, I won't keep you up. I won't keep any more of your time.
Oh, why can't you
We're
get
looking
them?
for mechanics too.
Are they asking too much money or what?
I had two people that were really good. One worked out of New Haven Fire Department. He doesn't want to, all of a sudden, he doesn't want to do the commute from, I believe he said he lives near Windsor Locks, so he's not going to drive down to Norwalk. And another guy who works in Stanford looked promising. He said he can't work for under $120,000 a year. The job only pays like $80,000 a year. So we're struggling against the private sector. You know, these guys can make a lot more money with overtime in the private sector. But
They get overtime from you guys too, right?
yeah, but it's very little.
Have you spoken to HR about this?
A little bit, but it's the job description is out of the DPW union, and they're telling me that they have to be the same wage as a DPW mechanic. I'm arguing the fire mechanic is a lot more specific and, you know, more involved as far as schooling, and you have to learn pumps and, you know, all that other stuff. But
Yeah, but can't you must be able to get requirements from some other fire departments. What does Stanford do? Does Stanford pay the guys more?
I don't know if they pay them more. I don't think they do. If they do, they do a little bit more. But I believe their guys are in the union. Our guys are not in the union. Our guys are in the DPW union, not the fire union.
No,
Which makes a big difference too.
but I'm just curious that, you know, HR can't find people. Maybe they have the wrong job description that they're looking for. If you bring somebody in that has no experience in pumps and so forth, which is integral to your maintaining of these trucks, then obviously looking for the wrong people.
I can't even find just a plain old diesel mechanic. I've even contact two schools that they have diesel mechanic programs, and you know, they're telling me that all their schools are pretty far from Norwalk, and their students won't want to come down here. You know, I don't know.
I mean, that's a problem in Norwalk, but not just with the fire department. That's the problem in this area. I mean, even down in Stanford, with like utility companies, they're having a hard time finding diesel mechanics, because of this area. And even at like propane, you have a really hard time finding a diesel mechanic just because they're just the area that we're in.
Yeah, I don't know. We keep trying. So.
Okay.
All right.
So we have that, and again, just want to thank you for your time. Thank you for working through the budget. I know we had to make cuts for the operating budget, and trim it down. It's a tough year for the citizens, but we definitely need to make sure that we take care of the fire and police, because you guys help maintain the safety of our city, and we really appreciate everything that you guys doing. And thank you for really just giving us the needs and trimming the fat, and not coming here with a grand list, but really coming to us with things that you need to help keep the city safe.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you,
you.
guys. Thank you for
Thanks.
everything.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
Good night.
And then with that, just need one more motion. Brings us to the end. Mr.
Move to
Frey.
adjourn.
All right. Yeah, that and all in favor?
Aye.
And that passes. You guys have a good night and
Okay,
enjoy the weekend.
okay, take it easy,
Okay,
guys.
good
Have a
night.
good one.